Tier 1, Academy Trainee.
You are 7 years old, and already they've decided who you might become. Every morning starts before sunrise, shuriken drills, until your arms shake, until you stop noticing the shake at all. The other trainees are strangers, who slowly become the only family you actually see. You throw 100 blades to land 10 cleanly. You fail more than you succeed, and no one softens that for you. There is no comfort in this training ground, only repetition, correction, repetition again. By midday, you sit on a dusty floor with scrolls older than your instructors, memorizing words you don't fully understand yet, tracing symbols until your hand cramps around the ink brush.
Tier 2, Genin, Apprentice Ninja.
Years pass. Now you hold a mission scroll in your hands for the first time. Real orders, real consequences. Your hands don't shake anymore when you grip a blade, but they do shake when you realize how much can go wrong tonight. You move across a rooftop under a sky with no moon, low and silent. The village sprawled beneath you in scattered lantern light. This is the job now. Not training exercises, but real reconnaissance, real risk. You've rehearsed this 100 times. Rehearsal doesn't prepare you for the moment a guard's eyes lift and find you frozen mid-step, and every instinct you trained for years finally has to answer for itself. You don't always succeed. Sometimes you're caught, bandaged, and standing in front of a mentor who doesn't raise his voice, because disappointment doesn't need volume to cut deep. You absorb the correction the way you've absorbed everything else here, silently, and you go train again at the forest's edge as the sun sets, alone.
Tier 3, Chunin, Journeyman Ninja.
Now younger Genin follow you through the forest, watching your hand signals the way you once watched your seniors. You didn't ask to be responsible for anyone else's life, but the rank came anyway, and with it, the weight of every mistake that isn't just yours to carry now. A rival's blade meets yours on a narrow bridge, and for a few seconds, neither of you is thinking about rank or duty, only about which one of you walks away. You win. You don't celebrate. There isn't time, and there rarely is anymore. By candlelight, you decode an intercepted scroll, piecing together intentions your enemies tried to bury in cipher. You've become someone who thinks in strategy before you think in reflex, a shift that happens so gradually you didn't notice until a council of senior ninja is waiting for your mission report, and you realize you're no longer the one being tested. You are, in small ways, becoming the one who tests others.
Tier 4, Special Jonin, Specialist.
You've stopped being a generalist. Somewhere along the way, you became the one they call for a specific kind of problem. Precision, infiltration, information extraction. The parts of this life most people can't stomach doing well. You stand in front of a class of Genin now, teaching the same drills that once broke you down, watching a new generation flinch the way you used to. There's a strange ache in that. Pride and grief tangled together. Afterward, you treat your own wound in silence. No one patches you up anymore. That job belongs to you now, along with everything else.
Tier 5, Jonin, Elite Ninja.
You lead a full squad into the mist now, and they follow without hesitation, because your reputation has outgrown you, spreading further than you ever intended it to. In combat, you move differently than you used to, not fighting to survive, but fighting because you've become someone who simply doesn't lose. Not often, not anymore. You stand over a defeated enemy, weapon lowered, and there's no triumph in your face, only the exhaustion of someone who has done this too many times to feel anything clean about it. In a formal hall, a village elder commends you, names you among the strongest this generation has produced. You accept it the way you accept most things now, quietly, because loud gratitude was trained out of you a long time ago. Alone on a cliff's edge as the sun sets, you look down at the village you protect, and for a moment, you let yourself feel the size of what you've become. Elite, feared, respected, and utterly alone in a way that no rank below this one prepares you for.
Tier 6, Black Ops Operative.
You emerge from shadow in a rain-soaked alley, mask hiding a face that fewer and fewer people would even recognize anymore. The work here isn't glorious. It's quiet, efficient, and final. A threat removed before it becomes a war. A name crossed off a list that only a handful of people will ever see. You receive orders from a hooded superior in near total darkness, and you don't ask questions because questions were never part of this rank's agreement. You cross a moonlit rooftop top completely alone, not leading a squad anymore, not teaching Genin, not anything that resembles the life you had 2 ranks ago. Just you and the job, and the silence that follows you everywhere now. In a hidden safe house, you finally remove your mask and sit motionless, staring at a wall, and for the first time in a long time, you're not thinking about the mission.
Tier 7, Jonin Commander.
Somewhere along the way, you came back from the shadows and into command. Now you brief full squads of Jonin and Chunin before a mission map that represents dozens of lives, not just your own. In a chaotic night battle, you make a call in seconds that will define who comes home and who doesn't. There is no version of this rank where every decision is right. You've learned to live with the ones that weren't. You stand over the grave marker of a subordinate you sent into a fight you didn't lead personally, and the guilt doesn't fade just because the mission succeeded overall. Success and loss coexist here constantly, and no one above you seems interested in separating the two. You train the next generation of Genin yourself now, patient in a way your own mentors rarely were, maybe because you remember exactly what it felt like to need that patience and not receive it.
Tier 8, Shadow Advisor.
You no longer fight on the front lines. Your battles happen in council rooms now, advising leaders who make decisions based on intelligence only you and a handful of others actually see. An entire wall in your private quarters is covered in reports, a network of eyes and ears you've spent years building, spanning further than most people realize. In a quiet tea house, you meet a disguised informant, exchanging information that could shift the balance of an entire region, over tea that neither of you actually finishes. Sometimes the strategic choice isn't the popular one. You make an unpopular decision in council, watching the tension ripple through the room, understanding that the people who disagree with you don't have access to the information that led you here, and you can't always explain yourself even when you want to. At night, alone at a window overlooking the village, you think about how far you've traveled from the boy who once just wanted to throw a blade straight.
Tier 9, Kage, Village Leader.
You are the leader now, the name that villagers say with a kind of reverence they don't fully understand the cost of. The entire village spread out beneath you. You carry every rank you've ever held inside this one. You preside over a formal ceremony. Villagers gathered below, celebrating a peace that exists because of decisions most of them will never know were made in your name. In a private chamber, alone, you make a decision that will cost lives no matter which direction you choose. The kind of decision that has no clean version, only the one you can live with afterward. You stand personally at the village gates when a threat arrives, because leadership here isn't only strategy from a distance. Sometimes it's you, alone, being the last line between the people you protect and the danger that wants through. At night, sitting at a desk with a single candle lit, you feel the full weight of everyone who depends on you.
Tier 10, Legendary Shadow.
You are old now. The title is gone, passed to someone younger, someone who reminds you painfully of who you used to be. You walk alone through a quiet bamboo forest, a cane in your hand where a blade used to be, and the silence here is different than the silence of your Black Ops years. This silence is peace. You almost don't recognize it. A young trainee finds you, seeking wisdom the way you once sought approval from ninjas who are long gone now. You answer gently, something you were never taught to do, something you had to learn entirely on your own, decades after it might have helped you. At dawn, your silhouette still moves through a sword form, slower now, but every motion still precise, still deadly if it needed to be. By the fire at night, you sit surrounded by faint memories of every rank you've ever carried. The trainee, the genin, the shadow, the leader. All of them still somewhere inside you. All of them the reason you're still standing.